What's going on, guys? It's Dylan from the Bottom Line View, back for another video. Today is an interesting video. It's 10 ways to fix Monday Night Raw. Now, my schedule is going to be very difficult over the next couple weeks because I'm going to be very busy with school and work. So I'm trying to put out there a lot of good content as much as I possibly can. Bad news is I won't be on the Raw reviews for the next 2 weeks because I got to work. The grand opening of a new store, got to be there. Good news, NXT is returning. I'll be back on this week to watch NXT. So, even though I won't be here for the next 2 weeks of Raw, I did want to make a Raw-related video because, as we've seen, Raw has been absolute garbage. It's like watching a show for the first couple of years and saying, you know what, there were a couple of bad episodes, but overall, it was a really, really good show for about 6 or 7 seasons. And then we get further on into the show's length, and it just draws out and it plays out. It's really long, it's repetitive, it's boring, it's really frustrating at some points. That's exactly what this show is. It's exactly what Monday Night Raw is. So I decided, hey, let's give creatives some kind of idea of how to write a television show. And even though they probably won't watch this video, this is just here to give examples of how easy it is to make this show good. So here are 10 ways to fix Monday Night Raw. At number 10, we have fix the goddamn commentary team. Now look, Michael Cole is okay at times, and Corey Graves is really, really good. The problem is that these three together are an absolute clusterfuck. Michael Cole at times can be good, but a lot of the time spews out dumb shit and really repetitive WWE shit that always frustrates me as a guy listening to a play-by-play commentator. Corey Graves has to say some of the stupidest things on the planet. Not his fault, it's the script's fault for making him read this stupid shit. And do I really need to even talk about Byron Saxton? He acts like a mentally retarded 5-year-old kid. Oh my god, Bootios and Bailey, woo, what's the available two-man? It's ridiculous. If they want to fix the product, one of the smaller things, but it would be a nice addition to helping Monday Night Raw, is to either get rid of Byron Saxton entirely and make it a two-man group of Michael Cole and Corey Graves, which I think would be a nice bonus, or change the commentary team up completely. Maybe have someone like Corey Graves and, I don't know, switch to maybe JBL, or I don't know exactly how, but I think the best solution is to get rid of freaking Byron Saxton and make this group a little bit more tolerable. Number 9. Stop making the show so damn repetitive. The show constantly has to deal with so many of the same segments over and over and over again. Who's starting the show off? It's either going to be the damn Authority or Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. And even though Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens broke up last week, it's always the same thing over and over and over again. There's nothing to be done. You know how many matches Roman Reigns, Chris Jericho, Seth Rollins, and Kevin Owens were a part of in the span of December and January? They were at least wrestling, one of those guys was wrestling another in a match for 8 weeks straight. That's absolutely ridiculous. Constantly booking the same thing over and over again. The way to fix it, just do something creative. I mean, we'll get to that later, but please, if you have these guys here, you can make more entertaining segments than have an in-ring promo, one guy talk to another, set up a match tonight. This isn't Teddy Long in 2007 Smackdown, let's book a tag team match. No, we're changing that. That has to change in order to fix this show. Number 8, stop the Cruiserweight division. It's not like I hate everybody on the Cruiserweight division. I don't. The problem with the Cruiserweight division is we have no character development with almost anybody on there. Neville is a saving grace for this Cruiserweight division, and Jack Gallagher is trying to do something, which I give him credit for even though I don't like him. But the problem is that these guys are bland, flippy shit guys that are on the main roster, and casual fans are looking at them like, what the fuck am I supposed to be entertained by? Okay? A wrestler is not only supposed to entertain you by, oh my god, a 450 splash, whoa! You have to do something more than the crazy moves inside the ring to get me and a lot of other people invested into the wrestling product. So the Cruiserweight division has completely gone against that and just decided we're going to do that instead. What do you need to do? This is a failed experiment. You either need to make this a network exclusive show, which they have done 205 Live. Why should it be on Raw? It needs to either be just 205 Live, or they need to stop the Cruiserweight division entirely, because this is a flop, and not even the king of the Cruiserweights, Neville, can save it. Number 7. Have better character development. And I'm only using Sami Zayn in this picture because it's a big emphasis of what this entry on this list is all about. Sami Zayn has a term that we like to give him, not the Uber guy or the taxi guy. There you go, Mitch. Sami Plain Zayn. It always seems like when Sami Zayn's on the screen, he just is excited to be in WWE. He's very happy about it and doesn't really care what else happens, but the fact that he's happy about where he is. But what's his character? What's Gallows and Anderson's character? What's the character for almost 80% of the roster? I mean, let's be honest. What's AJ Styles' character? What's freaking Cesaro's character? Sheamus's character? You name it, and almost every single person on the roster has to suffer from the fact that they don't have a character. And that's a big problem. Here, with Raw, all you have to do is make a good script. All you have to do is be like, oh, when you see something in a match, it has to further develop the story. And it has to grow or make the character think about their actions. Sami Zayn is a big example of that not working because they don't have a write for him. So they need better character development in order to make these stories work and to have better wrestling product. Number 6. Expand the women's division. I'm being dead serious when I say that this picture, minus Dana Brooke and put in Nia Jax, is the women's roster on Raw. It's ridiculous, okay? I understand why these women are getting pushed. But this is a women's division, not a women's foursome, like the 4 horsewomen, although only 3 of them are there. Becky Lynch is on SmackDown. And the fact that this is supposed to be more than 4 people. The men's division would not work if there was 4 guys wrestling over and over and over. Wait a minute, that's what they're doing with it. You know what? Forget it. The problem here is that they need more stars. NXT doesn't really have those, but if they do that women's tournament that they're talking about in March, they can bring new people in and have more intriguing storylines. SmackDown just did 3 women's matches on their last pay-per-view. Raw can barely do 1. So they really need to expand this division to make it more interesting and more credible. Number 5. Storylines, storylines, storylines. Hey look, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin and Mr. McMahon, one of the greatest feuds of all time. It helped make a generation know that wrestling still matters, and it was cool to beat up your boss and have beer-drinking son of a bitch do whatever he wanted to do whenever he wanted to do it. It was an awesome feud and changed the business forever. It created so many great storylines and feuds, and it made a star out of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Hey look, it's Mankind and Triple H. It made Triple H look like a great heel. It made him a better person. It got him up to the main event. And look at Cactus Jack, aka Mick Foley. Mick Foley made Triple H a star in this feud. Royal Rumble 2000, No Way Out 2000. So many great matches came out of this feud, and it helped Triple H go into the main event scene and change the game. Pun intended. Made it such a great feud to watch. And then you got this one. Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. The history, the streak on the line, baby. You got Shawn Michaels putting up his career to get this thing done. And he wants to do everything in his path to beat The Undertaker, and he just can't win the big one. You see how easy it is to make a storyline and make it impactful and important? Only one of those occurred at a WrestleMania. The other 2 were a part of the biggest storylines of the summer. Just make good storylines. Give these people reasons to beat each other up. I get to see random matches all the time, and I'm like, what's the storyline? Storylines, storylines, storylines. Number 4. Make the tag team titles mean something. In this last couple of months, with the New Day losing their tag team titles to Sheamus and Cesaro at Roadblock, these tag team titles have meant absolutely nothing. New Day got stale, so it was okay for them to lose the belt, although I would like them to lose it at a bigger spot like Mania. However, in the last month or so, Sheamus and Cesaro have held the belts, and now, since Royal Rumble, Gallows and Anderson, who have absolutely no character and no purpose, are the tag team champions. Now, Enzo and Cass are getting in the tag team title spot, and they're going to get a match at Fastlane probably, a triple threat tag match. But it just keeps going around and around and around, and nobody cares. This is the second worst division in the entire roster, probably behind the Cruiserweight division. It's just absolutely, not probably behind, but like right in front of. It's absolutely one of the worst things on television because I could not possibly care. Give us something intriguing with the tag team division and we'll care. But until then, this division has been absolutely garbage for the last 2 months. Number 3, make matches shorter and have less matches on the show. This picture is a picture of the amount of matches that Raw had on the October 10th, 2016 edition of Monday Night Raw. Do you see the problem? Well, there's quite a bit, but here's one. There's 10 matches on the card. You know how many stupid matches are on here? Bayley versus a jobber, tag team cruiserweight division match that doesn't really matter. You got Neville and Sami Zayn versus defeating Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. R-Truth and Titus O'Neil. This is Braun Strowman beating up jobbers. This is such a stupid picture. I don't want 10 matches on Monday Night Raw. At least give us 6 or 7 matches. That's all I ask for. Take 2 or 3 out of there, please. You can have more creative segments. You can get us intrigued with more storylines. It's not that complicated. I don't want 10 matches on my show. And I don't want them to be 45 minutes long either. Number 2, build more stars. WWE is terrible at building stars, especially on Monday Night Raw. I mean, you got guys that have potential, that have some kind of charisma and likability about them, and at the end of the day, stupid booking gets them down and doesn't make them stars. Roman Reigns could be a megastar if he was a heel, but of course, he's a face. Seth Rollins, up until about a couple of weeks ago, was just a bland babyface, and now Samoa Joe is. Hurt him, so he can't really develop in terms of what he needs to get to the next step, to the next level. There's so many guys on the roster that you could pinpoint and be like, whoa, Cesaro is pretty good. Oh, well, we're just going to book him in a lazy tag team division? Okay, well, that's cool. There's so many of those guys out there that you're just like, how? One of the biggest ones is Rusev. Like, the guy is talented. He had a really good 2016 United States Championship and everything. And he's very talented, and he had that one good feud with Enzo, but where is all that star power gone? Down the toilet. And it's absolutely ridiculous how Raw has not been able to build stars when they have the talent and they have the creativity to do so. They just have it right in their hands and they drop it. It's ridiculous. That needs to fix it in order to fix Monday Night Raw. And the number one way to fix Monday Night Raw is to stop making the show boring and be creative. I want to take you back to an episode in December, okay? Me and Mitch were watching the show, and I was like, I don't really understand why I should care about it. We had 2 fantastic segments, where Chris Jericho was out in the parking lot, Seth Rollins attacked him, and beat him up in there. Okay? Cool. It's a nice location, because we don't use it very often, and the fact that there was a story developed in there to make sense for Seth Rollins to beat the absolute crap out of Chris Jericho. Good. We had a really interesting segment where Sheamus and Cesaro, they're not really getting along, but they're drinking at the bar. They realize they got opportunity to be the tag team champions. They feed their frustrations by beating up these people at the bar so they can be better tag team competitors. You know how easy that is for good creativity? It's not difficult, guys. That was an interesting episode of Raw. We graded it one of the highest of the year because they did something cool in that show. Creativity is not that hard. If you want to make your show look good, it has to be creative. And in order for Raw to be as good as it once was, or even as close as it once was, it needs to be creative. It's not difficult. Make the show creative, you get more viewers, you get more interest. Boom. WrestleMania is going to be a success if it goes down like that. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Gronks by the like button if you did. Comment below your thoughts if you agreed with my top 10 list. What are some other ways that I forgot about that Raw should be looking forward to fix Raw itself, fix the show itself, make it more creative and spontaneous. And of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to the Bottom Line View for the best sports and wrestling content on the planet. It's still in from the Bottom Line View. See you guys very, very